Okay, I'm gonna say something super crazy, and you're free to agree with me or you're free to disagree with me. But I believe that the home series of Spider Man movies tells the perfect hero's journey. Let me explain. So, in the very first movie, and I'm talking about Civil War, we're introduced to the naive, I'm just a new hero, Peter Parker, where he shows up essentially to the airport battle. He's awkward, he quips, he's talking in the middle of fights, he gets beat. Iron Man remembers that he's a child, tells him to sit it out. Then we go into his own movies. He feels as though he failed, that he didn't live up to Tony's expectations of him during Civil War. So he tries to prove to not only Tony, but also himself, that essentially he's a hero. And this is where we get to in my opinion, one of the best scenes in the MCU, one of the best emotional scenes in the MCU. It's the scene in which vultures trapped him underneath the garage, and he's all alone. There's no special suit from Tony to help him. There's no Avengers falling out of the sky to assist him. There's no one there to back him up. He is on his own, and he has to work through this on his own. And that's when he looks down into the puddle of water and he sees not only his face, but he also sees Spider-Man's face. And he realizes that I am Spider-Man. I'm the hero. I'm not always going to have backup. I'm going to be going into these dangerous situations. I need to start using my head. I can do this. And he does do it. He's able to essentially flex the building off of himself and get back into the fight to take down the vulture. This is essentially him learning what it means to be a hero. Being a hero means that sometimes when the chips are down, you don't give up. You keep on fighting no matter what. Then we transition into Far From Home. Now, in Far From Home, there's a completely different lesson that needs to be taught. It's about legacy and responsibility. Tony leaves the glasses and the entire orbital array, which someone, I am hoping Natasha Romanoff, pulls Tony to the side and gives him an earful about giving a child essentially his own private army. But Tony leaves this piece of technology for Peter to help Peter essentially defend the world in the event of his death. This is where responsibility kicks in, because for Peter, yes, he understands that he's a hero, but he essentially wants to live his own life. So he shirks the responsibility of essentially commanding this mobile weapons platform off onto someone else that he just met, that he hasn't really vetted, who I would say isn't even in his circle of trusts, but he places this responsibility on Mysterio to essentially get rid of it. And what does it do? It turns around, it bites him in the ass. Instead of accepting the responsibility, being humbled at the fact that Tony chose him, he shirks it to someone else. It causes absolute chaos, and he has to fight to regain the responsibility and stop the chaos that he unleashed. What does the hero learn this time? Responsibility. First movie, he learns about what it means to be a hero. Now we're in the second movie, he learns about responsibility. Now we're dealing with the fallout of him not being responsible in the second movie, which is this movie, Far From Home. What are we learning in this movie? That no good deed goes unpunished. That no matter that, yes, you are the hero. And it's like Aunt May said, we don't turn our backs on people. We work to help people, because with great power comes great responsibility. That does come a little bit later, but for the most part, that's what she was alluding to. That she raised a boy who would always help people no matter what. No matter what you did, I'm always going to extend a hand to help you. What Peter learns is sometimes when you extend that hand, someone is going to still try to stab you in your ribs. And it is a brutal lesson to learn that yes, there is a road for good intentions, but sometimes that road is paved with the blood of the innocent. Because you've essentially chosen not to eliminate, let's say, this enemy, and instead arrest him for the courts to decide what to do with him. If that enemy escapes and he kills someone, it's on you. People being hurt by your decisions is going to be something that as a hero you have to learn how to live with. Otherwise, you end up essentially like Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, who said that I got bitter and I stopped pulling my punches. And sidebar, that is a completely different video talking about the fact that Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man was murking people in his own universe. And I think that this is the beautiful journey of the character. The character learns in the first movie what it means to be a hero. In the second movie, the character learns what it literally, that he has responsibilities as a hero and he cannot shirk those responsibilities onto someone else. And in the last movie, the character learns that sometimes he does have good intentions. You will have good intentions, and you should never shirk away from those good intentions. But sometimes those good intentions are going to lead to people being hurt, and you shouldn't close in on yourself. You shouldn't become angry. You shouldn't become bitter. You should still continue trying to help that person, because that is the point of being a hero. And I absolutely love that journey. And the journey answers the reason as to why he chooses not to tell both Ned and MJ who he is at the end of the movie. Why he moves off and gets his own like crappy apartment and has to go job hunting now. Why he's no longer relying on Stark tech, because he's evolved beyond all that. He no longer needs to rely on the legacy of Tony Stark. He's Spider-Man. He knows what the responsibilities are now. He's going to be out there helping people. Him being out there helping people means that the people closest to him could be hurt and they could get killed. But at the end of the day, he didn't stop being Spider-Man. He didn't retire. What he did was he sat down in his new home. He built himself a spider suit. He loaded that thing up on his phone and he leapt out of that window to help the people in New York. And that is why the hero's journey for Spider-Man in the MCU is the perfect hero's journey, because he goes through all the arcs of learning essentially what it means to be an actual hero. But if you are new to the channel, I do this kind of sort of daily. Why'd I almost come off sounding like the Green Goblin? I'm kind of sort of a YouTuber myself. But no, if you are new to the channel, thank you for coming to the channel. Thank you for the view. If you didn't like anything that I said, or if you disagree with me, comment down below. If you're one of my regulars, thank you for making it to the end of the video. If you agree with me, comment down below. If you disagree, comment down below. Absolutely love talking to you guys, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.